So, welcome everyone. You've tuned into Paradigm Shifters, and we have a favorite paradigm shifter on with us today. They've been on before, but boy, life just keeps changing, and we really need a new perspective. So, welcome to the show, Ginger Matro, who channels Galexis. Hi, Ginger.
Hi, Veronica. What a pleasure to be here again after such a long break.
Oh boy, and it's such a treat to talk with you right after New Year's of a brand new year and a pretty strange world situation. And we all love Galexis and your heart and perspective about that. So let's talk about what's really happening on the planet these days. What do you think?
Well, we are in a whole mm, progression towards the new world, towards the new reality, towards the new age, whatever you want to call it. And and in that process of moving towards something, you have to learn how to create it,
Mm.
right? And so
But wait a
um,
sec, Ginger. Is this actually the shift, or did we miss the shift, or is the shift a thing that
Oh,
takes place
oh
over
no, oh
10
no,
years?
no, no. We are in the midst of the shift.
Goody. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
But the shift has really been going on since basically around. Well, the shift actually started clicking in the 90s, but the big piece of it came in 2006.
Okay.
So this is where the new world energy touched down, and in a sense, this is where stuff started to really move, shift, play, and so on. But you see, we have to evolve. We have to keep recreating ourselves. So we've got to keep growing and learning and imagining and dreaming and so on.
So, one of the things I wanted to ask you about the shift, do you think intrinsic within each one of us is our ability to release ancient programs that have come through the history of humanity? You see what I mean? Not just on the external collective, but inside of each one of us. When you say dreaming, designing, intending, is it
Mm-hmm.
easier for me to manifest those things because the whole species is releasing huge dynamics that have been encoded in the species?
Well, you probably want to talk to Galexis about this particular thing because
Okay.
the Galexis has much more of a connection into the collective
Okay.
than I do. What Galexis has been saying, though, is that um, we all want to get to that new world, that new reality individually, and and we are then going to be the midwives, so to speak, for the birth of the new world, of the new reality. But we have to first get there ourselves. So yeah, we are actually all the encodings of the collective, which are come from that patriarchal and come through the centuries and even from our stellar heritage and so on. There's a tremendous amount of encoding, and you probably have been experiencing it, and I'm sure a lot of listeners have too. Of getting lots of downloads and opening up to new ideas and getting new states of consciousness coming in and all that.
Hmm.
And so what I'm seeing here is that um, we don't have to spend time releasing the old codes. We've been doing that. We've been working on that diligently for the past 20 years
We
anyway.
sure have, haven't we?
I mean, we've been like thinking ever since the harmonic convergence back in '87. Many of us have been saying, well, where is it? Where is it? Any day now, we should be in the new reality, and so on. And it just seemed to be one year after another, dragging on and on and on. Whenever is it going to happen? And the thing is that as we get closer to it, there's an intensification and there is a polarization.
Mm.
Okay,
What does the
and
polarization look like to you? This is for
the
our people at home.
polarization looks like very much, and here's the polarization is from the information from Galexis is about the dark masculine.
Oh.
You see, the thing is that back in the 70s was women's lib, and where women said, we deserve to be equal.
Mhm.
We deserve to have lives where we're not continuously preyed upon
Mhm.
or manipulated by men,
Mhm.
or where we are always earning, 75 cents on the dollar or whatever of men, where our value is undermined, and where we have to spend all our energy supporting other people who don't, and not getting any support ourselves. Women say, wait a minute, we've got to be our own people. And this created quite the uproar amongst men because they didn't know how to relate to
Mhm.
women being equals. I mean, the
Mhm.
collective was definitely the patriarchy.
Mhm.
So men thought that if women are in power, or women have control, or women are able to take top jobs and or be bosses or leaders or something like that, that means that the men are losers. It's an either or kind of
Mhm.
thing. That's an extreme. That's a, a polarization.
I
That means that,
see.
see, that's the same thing as saying, okay, it can't be us being equal together. It's got to be either or,
Mhm.
right?
That's really
And so,
interesting because remember in those days they'd say behind every powerful man there's a wonderful woman. Do you remember all
yes,
that? So you'd
yeah,
think they would
yeah.
take advantage of that and say, "Oh, good, let's bring the wonder up."
Well, no, men live according to the man code, and the man code, which is a patriarchal, male chauvinistic a ranking system,
Mhm.
says basically that that all the ranking and value is ascribed to men, and women don't even belong in the ranking because they're not valuable,
Because we're different.
because you're different, you're the other,
Right.
all right? And that it's and that men, in order to have success and to be manly, they must compete and win. So
Right.
they must be fighters, right? Women don't think that way, right? Women, uh, when you get a whole bunch of men and women together and doing a big community gathering and so on, the men want to coordinate and organize it and determine who does what job and who answers to who.
Right.
They'll immediately set up a hierarchy. The women will come in and say what needs to be done,
Right.
all right, and they'll do it, right?
Right.
They can work without leaders and controllers. So this is
Because
totally
we
different
think in
system.
community or family, I guess, starting a family,
Yeah,
but we
yeah,
think community.
that's our estrogen
Mhm.
speaking, right?
Mhm.
The testosterone is the warrior, is
Mhm.
the fighter.
Mhm.
So what we are finding in the political arena is all this extremism, and particularly in this last U.S. campaign, we saw the extremism between Trump and the patriarchy and the male chauvinistic and all that, and the Hillary group, right?
Mhm.
But the thing is that what's really been necessary has been really to upend the entrenchment and control and domination of what I guess I'd call the old guard of the Democrats and the Republicans. Okay,
Mhm.
so so in a sense there was the excitement in this particular campaign was not with Hillary per se. There was a lot of women who were saying, "Yay, a woman president, fantastic!" But the excitement came from the outsiders, Trump being the outsider on the Republicans and Bernie being the outsider on the Democrats.
Mhm.
The people who said, "We're not establishment. We are, in a sense, independent and anti-establishment."
And both
And
of
that
them
gave
presented
both of
some magic in the sense of, gosh, it could be different, where Hillary
yes,
represented it's got to keep going the same way, you know?
exactly. And
Mm.
Hillary did not choose an adventurous campaign. It was very low key. She didn't. She just didn't set it up to respond. It was like very old style, old school,
Hmm.
and this served to her disadvantage, actually. And when you're looking at the center parts of the country and all the states that went to Trump by only a few thousand votes, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was like it did not. She was out up in her ivory tower. Well, she's a double Scorpio,
Mm-hmm.
right? And from astrological point of view, that means she's quite the introvert.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she's a policy wonk. She was like that,
Policy
but
wonk. I love that.
uh-huh. And she was an intellectual. She's smart up the wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
But when it came to practical relating to people and really getting out there, she didn't. That's not her type of intelligence.
Mm.
Whereas Trump, who is a Gemini with a Leo rising, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and Sagittarius moon, he's
Oh my
out there.
gosh.
He loves performance. He loves big show. He's perfectly suited for media.
Well, I also wondered another thing was that he was always coming up with the unexpected, and I think in a way people want that, and
Hmm.
that can be really detrimental, of course. But I think people wanted to know it's going to change, right?
Well, people just really tired of the same old, and that's
Exactly.
why, like Jeb Bush was part of the old Bush dynasty, got nixed right away, and because it took a while for Bernie to get his momentum going. Basically, Hillary, that was the only option, was the establishment candidate there,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So part of this, the point I'm making here is that this upheaval is actually in a way a good thing on some level,
Yes.
because what it's doing, it's breaking down old constructs. Not that it's getting rid of them, not that it's getting money out of politics or anything yet, but it definitely upset the apple cart.
Mm-hmm.
It was a surprise to everybody, even Trump.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'm sure he does
nobody
not know
expected.
what to do.
No, he's in over his head, but
Yeah.
he's going to play it like a reality show. So that's
And what
so
about
he'll.
Bernie? Is he lost? I loved Bernie because I felt he was kind of like the salt of the earth, kind of steady balancer. That's what I thought he would be able to do.
Well, and he was Bernie garnered twice as much excitement as Trump on
I
the
know, yeah,
and
and from all kinds of people who are going, we needed something different. This.
that's right. And what was really amazing is that nobody made a big deal about him being a socialist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because even liberal has been a dirty word. The
Right.
Republicans have done a really good job on that. But the thing I'm talking about here is that there needed to be this sense of extremism, this sense of polarization. Okay,
I think
and
that's so. Mm-hmm.
so we've got this polarization going in this country, and in between the polarization is like chaos, and out of chaos is where we create.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and so the point is that this is part of our creation process. We have to break down some of the old structures. So we broke down the Bush and Clinton dynasty.
Right.
Okay, so
And
we
they
kind
call
of like.
the elite Democratic elite also got shaken, which is good.
Right, right.
And I'm
Well,
not sure about
nobody
the
talked about the
Republican.
Republican elite, but they were kind of out on the fringe too.
Mm-hmm.
What did happen this time, though, is that individual billionaires got in there.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have a whole movement towards towards the right, which is going to create more extremism between the right and the left, and maybe is going to kind of put a fire under the butt of the left wing. Okay,
I hope
and
so.
and because there's got to be a balance at some point in the future, right?
Well,
So
what's interesting, Ginger, is when we're talking about how we have to dream and intend and really keep growing and all the rest of it. Don't these other guys have to as well? I mean, what's the deal?
well, sometimes I think that those people who work on the world stage have a different mission and purpose than those of us who are dreaming the new reality.
Because they
But
don't
we're
want
all
the new.
working together,
They don't want the new reality, do they?
Um, they want their reality.
Mm-hmm.
Like Donald Trump is a very good creator
Oh yeah.
and,
Mm-hmm.
and manifester. But his reality of what I'm understanding is that he actually he eats organic. When he can, he drinks raw milk. He does all sorts of underground alternative health stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, a lot of the alternative health underground, which has been dominated by right-wing interests, is all excited about him. So there's a lot of
It
foment.
has been
There's a lot of
dominated by right-wing interests. Come on, is that true?
the most of the alternative health underground is led by right-wingers.
Well, I have to say, PU.
Right. Well, there's a few that also reach across to the liberals as well, like Mercola. He has a liberal base, right?
Okay.
But it's been generally the province of the right wing, which has always been against national health control or vaccines and all that kind of thing.
Vaccines, I thought that's what they wanted. I thought that was their bailiwick.
No, not the right. Mm-mm.
Oh, I
No,
thought.
the vaccines have been the most important thing for the big pharma, and
But isn't that right? Isn't Big Pharma right?
no,
Oh.
big pharma is basically got established into the Democrat establishment.
Oh, you're
Big,
kidding. How sad.
no, yeah,
Oh.
I know. And so there was like in Obama's like health care plan, all the health care plans seem to come from the left, and and even Obama has put out more giving more power to the CDC and so on because they want massive vaccination, which of course is going to give massive profits to the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh my gosh.
But that's on the left. The right wing has not been very enthusiastic about health care and controlling health and the CDC. They're not as excited. They've never been as excited. So it's been always because the Democrats always are concerned about people, and the Republicans have always been obsessed about military and defense. And that's where all the money goes in the Republican administration, and you're going to see it even more now, even though the U.S. has the biggest military, the budget in the world, and this budget is more than the next 7 military budgets combined.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And it's getting worse.
And it's getting more because that's the old paradigm. That's a patriarchal paradigm, is that if we are really, we've got, plenty of guns, we can control what everybody else does and make them buy products from us, make them kowtow to our corporations.
So if we're getting evolved and we're shifting with our own personal drives on an individual basis, is there not a bit of a race between all that you're talking about, the military, the potential for nuclear, and the thing with Putin and the one world order and all that? Aren't we racing that polarity? Are we not just like going to butt heads?
You mean the U.S. and Russia butting heads?
No, I mean that if we're trying to evolve, you and I, Ginger, and a whole bunch of other folks, right? And yet, in the meantime, there's this incredible heating up of some global potential nuclear stuff.
I know that's really that it's got to bring the people up. The people have got to rise up and say, "Wait a minute, that's too much. That's enough."
Well, I just started to think it's a race between our waking up, right?
Well, in a sense, we've already chosen I think we are on track.
Okay.
We are on track to the new world, and the new world kind of came got we got a foot into, or a toe into the water, so to speak, of the new world back in 2006.
Okay.
And this has evolved a whole bunch of things. Just think about how much growth you've done since 2006.
Oh,
That's 10
absolutely
years.
tons.
It's
Yeah.
like you're not the same person anymore, even.
No, not at all.
Um,
We don't
so
even look the same, really.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
And the trajectory you were on in 2006 got changed. So your future from 2006 got changed, and you're in a different future than you, if it had not touched down in 2006, you would be in a whole different place.
Well, that's true. That's true.
You're in a direction towards bringing in the new reality. We all are, okay? And on the way, we sometimes have setbacks. As you know, that whenever you're manifesting a big project, there are times where oh my gosh, you have to stop and recalibrate and reconsider,
Mhm.
and maybe get rid of some stuff, throw some stuff out, change your mind, shift your perspective. But you see, right now we're in a big polarization between, and it looks on the surface between right and left politically, but it isn't. It's kind of between the dark masculine and the liberated feminine that came out of the 70s.
Mhm.
Women are growing up,
Mhm.
but men did not.
Mhm.
Okay, so now men are growing up. They're having to grow up and become aware. There are more and more men who are not male chauvinists now.
That's true. That's true. We see them,
Okay?
don't we? Mhm.
But it's got to get really focused in people's face
Mhm.
before people will make a choice, what they want to do about it, how they want to proceed. And we are the dreamers who are going to figure out how men and women, the masculine and feminine, the right and the left, the light and the dark, how it's all going to work together.
Hmm.
Okay, so why don't I head on out and you talk to Galexis, because Galexis can give you a little bit more hints about what's coming,
Oh, I'm looking
and
forward to that, but it's been delightful talking with you, Ginger. Thank you for your sharing, and
you're
let's do it
certainly
again.
welcome.
Yes.
Really fun. All right,
Yes.
so I'm going to head on out.
Super. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we are here.
Welcome, welcome, Galexis. We're honored to speak with you again. It's been a while.
Oh, well, it has, hasn't it? And so much has happened.
Oh
You know,
my gosh.
the way that we look at time is so interesting, because yes, it's been a long time. In your situation, it's been months or maybe even a year or something. But for us, it's been, time is measured by how much happens.
Right, right. Okay.
So as far as we're concerned, this year just finished, this 2016, has been so jam-packed with stuff and so filled with change and so kind of pushy, you might say, as far as growth is concerned,
And
that,
melodramatic. Hello.
oh, very dramatic, that that it's as if years have passed.
Yeah, yeah, it's true, isn't it?
It's just
Because
so
we've
much
been
going on.
so changed throughout that year, have we not? Haven't we all
Yeah,
changed a
oh,
lot?
absolutely. There's
Yeah.
the healings that have been going on. There's been people being wakened up by the intensity of the political process in this country. There have been people, and it's not just this country. There's a tremendous amount of political upheaval going on all around the planet.
All over the
There's a lot
world.
of right-wing populist movements in Europe. There's just stuff going on everywhere. There's a foment. There's a people saying rising up, and And in a sense, it's the pendulum always swings back and forth. People will try back and forth and back and forth. And right now, it's all kind of moved to the right. And the right, by the right, we don't really mean conservative. We don't mean old guard, moderate.
No.
We're talking about a sense of revolution, a sense of extremism, right?
Right.
And
But it looks
and
like it's fairly dictatorial. That's my perception of what the right seems to want.
right, it seems that it pulls on people's. The right wing always pulls on patriotism to pull people together.
But it also separates people. Doesn't patriotism separate us all?
Of course,
Hmm.
but it makes people loyal to a leader who is for some kind of ideal that maybe they want, but they don't realize the personal impact. That's why we always have been amazed at how many people vote for Republican candidates when generally the Republican Party in the U.S. is actually, and right wing movements worldwide are actually very unsupportive of the people that vote
Exactly.
for it.
Hmm.
It's like people shoot themselves in the foot to vote for. But the thing is that the right wing has so much more passion. It gets people, riled up, and they're against something, and it feels like the people are in a powerful movement, and there's a sense of surge of power and
Wow.
action and passion, which the left just has not had. The
But you
left
know
has been
what's
pretty tepid.
interesting? I've an old
Mhm.
60s radical, and we were
Mhm.
talk about left passion. That was huge. Not right passion, left passion. But it just
Exactly,
doesn't
and that's
exist
why.
anymore.
Well, it did come up with Bernie,
Yes,
okay, but it was squelched
it sure
by
was.
by the DNC and by the old guard of the Democratic Party who failed to read the writing on the wall.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and
They were trying
if
to be
they had
nice
been,
or normal or something.
what's that?
They were trying to be nice or normal or garner more votes or something.
No, they just wanted, no, really. It was a sense of political control. It says we finally got, Hillary is our candidate, and we've got all the old guard. We've all got the donors behind her. We've got the whole construct here. We can win, and we can, and so on. So it really was the party, the real party. It was
Mm-hmm.
the essence of the party. The essence of political parties is not very pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's an institution that controls.
Right, right. It's like a
Okay,
church in a way.
well, yeah, it's another institution, and it has adherents, and it has a tremendous a sense of control, and if and the liberals have not really been able to garner much enthusiasm for a number of years.
Mm.
You know, so the old guard, you know, people were tired of the Clinton thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even Democrats were tired of
Oh,
Clinton.
I sure was. Well, yeah, I wonder also about the media. Does it not, the media and the broken foods, do they not keep people rather dull and passionless? Do they not keep people rather controlled? I feel like
Well,
people can't
sure,
think
and
straight.
sure, but you have to understand that even though the Republicans call the media the liberal media, and they like to do that just because they like to create distance.
Mm-hmm.
They always are creating separation so that they can look superior and one up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is that the media is very controlled by right wing interests. The owners of the media
Mm-hmm.
are basically right wing billionaires,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That's
So
very
so
interesting, isn't
it
it?
filters down that if you have something that goes antagonistic, and it's all, of course, money. If you
Mm-hmm.
have anything antagonistic to any of the sponsors that pay tremendous money to to the to the media for their advertisements,
Mm-hmm.
i.e., the drug industry,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That if they say anything about against drugs or vaccines or medicine, standard medicine or something, it's totally silenced.
Well, and look at
If
Bernie. They didn't talk about Bernie at all, did they?
Oh, they shut him out.
Yeah. But what
I
was interesting about that is his people's affection for him and demand for him kept growing. So that gave me a little bit of faith that people are moving past the media control.
Right. And this is like the new revolution. We were in the revolution,
Mhm.
the channel and you were in the revolution back in the 60s and
Mhm.
70s,
Mhm.
which was a liberal movement. Yes.
Mhm.
Now it's coming back, but you see it's people have got to get the polarization clear, figure out not necessarily what side they're on, but where are we going to go from here? How's that all going to work? Because socialism may not really fully work. Neither will right wing stuff fully work. It's got to be some kind of bipartisan, some kind of like group orientation.
Well, let me
And the
ask you
old
this. Isn't there a
mhm.
global movement going on that has nothing to do with us voting on it?
Yes. Yeah, the politics is our reflection, the reflection in our mirror.
Right.
The politics is bringing to us because it's all over the media. You can't really avoid it, really, when something as big as this past election cycle is on it just dominates the news, and Trump knew how to dominate the news. The thing is, you can't avoid that, but it's a reflection. It's telling you what to pay attention to, what to look at, what's going on inside you. Your response is very important, and this is true all over the planet. And right now, there's this whole political upheaval going on everywhere,
But do you
just
think,
about.
like, going back to this global one world order, do you think that that's what's going on and that's why this unrest is being stimulated in these different
Well,
places?
yes. Now, the one world order that is a negative concept promulgated by the right wing,
Okay.
in which global interests dominate national and local concerns. Okay, that's the
So they
idea.
don't care how people are.
Well, let us just finish this concept. The
Okay.
globalism is seen as the pathway to one world order in which everybody will be controlled from one place in the world,
Right.
and local and regional interests will not be served. Okay,
Okay.
and so the right wing has grabbed onto this and created a lot of nationalistic fervor. Okay, now the thing is that the spiritual people, which have been shut out actually of the Democratic Party, out of the liberals, it is a more liberal movement, but it's a spiritual movement. And whereas the right wing is dominated by fundamentalist religion, the left has been kind of wandering around in intellectual mid-range, and does not accept New Age spirituality.
Right.
Okay, so the New Age spirituality is in a sense forming a third party, so to speak.
Oh.
Okay, and what this third party, third piece is the dreaming of the new world, and it is not really socialist. It's just like the original idea of communism was there was some
It was
kind of
pure.
good
Yeah.
pure good idea at the beginning,
Mhm.
but people who are who want to manipulate, people who want self-serving, people who are greedy, cannot administer that.
Right.
Okay,
Mhm.
it ends up just all the power going to the top. Well, this is what's going on now. Is about people are seeing all the power, all the money's going up to the top, to the billionaires
Mhm.
and multinational corporations. So Trump was able to get in by blasting globalism.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that this one world order idea is going to mess up our country, is going to make us subservient through all these bad trade deals to the rest of the world, and all our money will be going to the rest of the world, and we won't be as prosperous and blah 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 blah. And so he fed that idea, which got a lot of enthusiasm. Okay, there was passion there. Now
Mhm.
on the left wing, they still had blah blah blah. We're all together. We're all one, and 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 that was something that the right wing could say, look, that's one world order too. They want to just control everything that you do. The Democrats want to control all your, they're going to make it all the rich people pay for all your doctors, and you have to go to the right doctors and be in the right HMOs. We got to control everything. We got to make everything right, and we got to, whatever. And they took that also as a one world order, so they could contrast it. Now, what the real one world order idea was originally many decades ago, and in conspiracy theory, this is considered was that this was a really bad thing, but the idea originally was that we would all live in peace and harmony. But
I like that.
And that's oneness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're heading. Everybody really does want to move to oneness,
mm-hmm.
but they don't want the one world order, right?
Right, yes.
So the spiritual people are talking oneness. And so the right-wingers say, oh, no, that's one world order, okay? Because from a male chauvinist point of view, it's an either or. If there is a oneness, that means that they're losers. They're going to be controlled by someone outside of them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see that oneness is more of a feminine concept,
mm-hmm.
which is we all
pitch
in together.
Yeah, nurturing.
And we create a community, and we respect each other's individuality,
and we
all that kind
respect
of
each
stuff.
other's. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
right.
thing that's missing right now.
But
is respect.
The male chauvinists say, no, I deserve respect. Nobody else does.
Right.
I know what's right. I'm right. Everyone else is wrong. It's black and white. That's the dark masculine. Now, there's a positive masculine, and it has to emerge now.
Yeah.
Because the dark feminine was all the, you can see the dark feminine still everywhere.
Undercurrent,
but it was all the undercurrent of the martyrhood and the sacrifice. And on the other hand, the superficialness of things and acquisition of
facelifts,
goods and stuff, facelifts and image and blah, blah, blah. So there's all that part of the dark feminine. But the light feminine is growing too, which is the spiritual light worker women who are learning how no longer have to be martyred to their work, no longer have to take on the burdens of their clients and their associates and the community and the world. One of the things that every spiritual person needs to do is to drop off the burden.
Okay.
And this is the burden of the collective that says that women have to carry the burden. Women have to suffer,
mm-hmm.
right? Women are dropping it off. If you notice, the spiritual women are not talking, this whole service nurturing as much as
mm-hmm.
they used to.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically talking about empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
that's true.
The light feminine is emerging. Now the light masculine has to emerge too. So what we've got right now with all the right-wing movements is the backlash, you might say, and the extremist focus on the dark masculine now.
Aha, that makes sense.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And if you don't have that as a crisp focus, then people don't know where they stand on it.
Mm-hmm.
They can fall totally prey to male chauvinist behaviors, attitudes, feelings, both sexes, anytime, and just think it's automatic and natural. But now that it's getting really brought into focus, it enables all of us, all people, to reflect on how does this relate in my day-to-day life?
Mm-hmm.
How do I continue the negativity myself? What in my environment is reflecting the male chauvinistic attitudes, the extremism, the rage and the anger, the separation, the extremism, all that?
But if
how
you
is
have,
that showing
I
up
don't.
in my life?
If you have, I don't. If I have, you don't.
Right, and I've always got to be one up on you.
Right.
I've got to always compete. I always got to be better than,
Mhm.
and if somehow or another I lose out and I don't have as much money, I've got to rationalize it and be angry about it and righteous and all this kind of stuff.
And isn't it
It makes
interesting that you
mhm.
talk patriarchy and patriotism, and it's basically the same root word, isn't it?
Exactly, it is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
male chauvinistic stuff.
Wonderful.
And at some point in the future, if owning territory, control, and power, which is a male imperative, okay, of the dark masculine, if that was not so important, if control of all the resources and people scrambling at the top to control the resources, if that were to stop, you would no longer need national boundaries.
Yes, that's right.
You would no longer need the suppression of women. You would no longer need, slavery. You would no longer need any of that.
So there'd
You
be a
would you would
reduction of refugees, period, right?
yeah, there wouldn't be refugees.
Right, right. That's an amazing thing.
Refugees don't really want to be refugees.
No.
That's their last resort.
Mhm.
You see, it's
Yeah.
to they what they would like to do is stay in their own home country and have a good life.
Yeah. And
Okay,
safety
and
as
so
well.
yeah, they would like to have be able to create good communities for themselves, be prosperous, enjoy their life, do their thing. And it's all this male chauvinism coming to extreme, with dictators and whatever, that force people into reevaluating where they stand on this whole male, female, dark masculine, dark feminine, to the light masculine, light feminine, where they all fit there. The light masculine and the light feminine are going to work together just fine, because this creation that was put together, this whole creation, it's a duality, which means both masculine and feminine are needed to create.
Well, and that's the way it should be. Tell me
And that's
this,
the way it is.
and I was
Mhm.
asking Ginger before you came on, is there a rising of and a breaking up of some of the deep subconscious programming that came through trauma as in the history of our collective, like 11,000 years ago and, through bubonic plague and
Well,
all these
yeah,
things?
well, of course,
Is there a
but
breaking
you
up
see,
of those
it's actually
defenses? Yeah.
well, actually, what a lot of it is back in Atlantis, and you
Okay.
know about the mythology of Atlantis. There were three
Sure.
civilizations. They were all destroyed because there were people who were manipulating weather. They were manipulating geophysical experience. They were in a push for power and fighting each other and destroying of course, the dark masculine is about destruction. Okay,
Right.
um, competition, winning and losing, is basically involves destruction of what has been. In order to start over, you have to destroy everything. Well, we have a new paradigm, the spiritual beings that are working with you, and those of you who are working on the new world, the new reality. And that paradigm is that it comes from creation of your own inner masculine and feminine.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to honor your inner masculine and feminine and create inner light masculine, inner light feminine, and just like Goddess came first and then she created God.
Mhm.
And then she and God had great sex and had great creation.
Mm.
Okay?
Mhm.
The whole birth principle is feminine. And so all social change has to be initiated or energized, social change, spiritual change even, by the feminine, because
Mhm.
that's the creative force, okay? And so what's going on right now is that all of this unfoldment is part of this creation process. It's messy. Creation is never simple, neat, and clean.
No, I'm sure.
All right,
Mhm.
and so
It's often bloody.
yeah, unfortunately, it's pretty bloody.
Mhm.
But what the oneness is that we're all moving towards and working towards, and so on, has to do with the equality of the masculine and feminine within each person, and then the gender that expresses it in whatever way a person wants to express their gender, or if you know if you've noticed, there's a tremendous amount of gender fluidity going on now.
Yes,
There's
indeed.
there's
Hmm.
it's not just a straight or gay anymore.
Yeah.
There's trans and various kinds of different degrees between masculine and feminine, and there's a sense of, well, what gender your physical body was born as doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you have to stay aligned with.
Hmm.
There's a whole new creativity, and this is another reflection of finding that inner masculine and feminine and finding the right balance for yourself to
Mm.
find what's uniquely you. This is what's bringing in the new reality.
Hmm.
And this is part of the dreaming is, okay, who am I? What is my identity? Is what you need to ask, right?
Hmm.
And you look at all these crazy things going on the planet and all the right wingers who are basically saying, the billionaires should run the planet. They should be able to buy the government, and they should be able to privatize everything, and then everybody makes, and they make money, and there shouldn't be any social services.
Right.
Okay, people just have to fend for themselves. We can hire people for dirt, for dirt poor wages. We'll finally be lords of the earth. We'll finally be up there ourselves. We'll finally, and this is an old dream of the dark masculine. This is the ultimate end of the man code.
Hmm.
This is the ultimate focus of the man code, is being lord of the world.
Hmm.
And for the first time ever on the ranking of men, there's the channel and Daniel and we have talked a lot about that over the years. And one of the things we've found is that the whole dark masculine is all organized around hierarchy.
Okay.
Like the military is all hierarchy.
Hmm.
Okay, religion, if you notice,
Oh,
is
yes.
hierarchy.
Hmm.
Okay, so you've got, and then you've got even in any institution, you've got hierarchy. Like in the educational institution and the government, there's hierarchy. You have to qualify. You have your superiors and your inferiors, and you have your duties, and and you work, and so on. And so there's all this hierarchy. Now, what happens is that that there's like 3 tiers of hierarchy for men. Now, men are expected to become winners, make a lot of money, and be champions. Okay, and somehow or another, this is installed into every boy, everywhere, who actually follows the man code path.
Hmm.
Okay, because now with gender fluidity, some men don't even do that, but the ones who do, which is a vast majority of men, are raised with this in mind, that they have to become these great men. And if they're not up there at the top, they're losers. It's like the team that wins the Super Bowl, or the winners. The team that loses the Super Bowl, even though they've won everything underneath there and made it up to the Super Bowl, they're still losers.
I know, isn't that amazing?
Okay, so in order for you to be a winner, you have to get to the very, very top, right? And there are 3 tiers, which are basically lower class, working class at the bottom, middle class in the middle, and upper class in the upper tier. And also, there are certain degrees of power and other qualifications that make a man, qualify for a higher tier. But mostly it's money. So what happened now is that Donald Trump has reached the top of the top tier.
Hmm.
He's gone as far, in a sense, as a man can go
Right.
on this planet, because it's generally conceded that the President of the United States is probably the top political post in the world.
Right.
The most dominant political post in the world. And by golly, those men, those white male supremacists, there's no way a woman is going to get into that post.
That's true, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That would shame all of them. They would all be losers. They would be so shamed.
Right.
But they got a billionaire man into it, okay? And he can run the show because now the Congress is all Republican,
Right.
and
Mostly
the
men.
Supreme
Mostly men.
Court,
Mhm.
mostly men, and the
Mhm.
Supreme Court is going to go totally, right wing. So anything he wants will go. He's going to be the king of the world.
So there's a
Okay.
question I have to ask because I know our listeners are thinking the same thing here, or some of them, that does it mean that the end of the world is coming because the Mother Earth's
Well,
in
we'd say
danger as well?
the end of the old paradigm is coming.
Okay.
But this is the essence of the old paradigm. The peak has been reached. Trump can't go up any further. There's no further he can go, really.
But can the
In
world
terms,
handle him?
um,
The Earth,
it
Mother
will.
Earth, Gaia.
Mother Earth is like Mother Earth is not dependent on our craziness
Oh,
as
good.
humans. Okay,
Thank you, God.
but the concern and the love of the earth, which is being carried by women,
Mhm.
and mainly spiritual women, okay, and spiritual men who are feminists now too,
Mhm.
okay, who are carrying this vision, are going to get stronger than
Thank you.
ever.
Good.
Okay,
Good.
it's those, the channel went into quite a depression, right after the elections. Like, what?
Well, we
And
met each other there.
right, and most of her friends were like that,
Mhm.
except a few males that she knew that were like, oh, okay, yeah, right. But men are invigorated by anger, women are
Mhm.
not.
Mhm.
So an angry man being president, it's like very stressful for women.
Mhm.
This is going to require a lot of response
Mhm.
from women.
Well, yeah, the rebuking of women probably prompted a good response from us all. Like, are you kidding? We're going to stand up.
Absolutely,
Solidarity,
absolutely.
here we come.
In fact, all the anti-Trump Democratic or left-wing uh, organizations have done their best uh, since the election. People are contributing like wildfire to the left.
Good.
Okay, it's part of just what needs to go through, so that the old man code, this male hierarchy, patriarchy, domination, control. We have bigger guns, so we'll shut you up, and then we'll have peace.
Yeah,
Peace
cruelty and
through
bloodshed and murder
right,
of the
and we'll
planet.
have
Mhm.
peace through the military. The
Mhm.
military will give us peace.
What an
We'll have peace
oxymoron that
through
is.
war. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Mhm.
It's coming up again, and there's a whole new generation of people who are like struck by the vision of Bernie of being outside the billionaire control. Okay?
Well,
Being
unfortunately, we have to end this, and I could talk to you forever.
mhm.
And I wondered if you could finalize this by saying, is Bernie going to come back? Have we lost him?
Oh no, Bernie's going to keep doing stuff. Bernie's
Okay.
on. And he actually has put out a book too.
Yes,
You're
I
aware
know.
of
I
that?
should order it. Yes,
Okay.
I haven't ordered it.
Yeah, you really should.
Hmm.
Um, and it's a kind of a Bible for the far left. It's really a kind of he really lays it all the information out there.
Okay.
But what it really points to is that there needs to be balance, masculine, feminine, light and dark, Republican, Democrat. It's got to be balance. And Bernie's not going to go silently into the dark night.
Thank you.
Not like Hillary. She's disappeared.
Hmm.
But
But her
Bernie,
role was different. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, her role was she's done her role. Okay, but Bernie still has. There's all these people who want change,
Hmm.
and as soon as it becomes obvious that there's not the change that people want with Donald Trump, then there are going to be people building this quote unquote revolution. Right?
Hmm.
Now, the spiritual people need to come in there and make some adjustments. it's not straight socialism that the world is heading towards.
I don't
Okay?
think there is straight socialism. But tell me this, are we actually vanquishing that third loss of Atlantis? We came to rebalance
All
that,
right.
did we not? Are
We
we going to
came to
get there?
No, we did it. We basically have established already in our return that the planet's going to be saved. We're not
Okay.
going to
Thank you.
destroy everything. It was kind of evident, we hope, in 2012 when the world didn't go through upheaval and we didn't have and there wasn't this what is it the where all of a sudden there was no sun
Oh,
or
right.
whatever and
Yes.
all that kind of stuff, or all the electromagnetic shift, the polar shifts, all of that was symbolic.
Okay.
Okay? And
Okay.
we made it through that. Okay? We're actually on the upward trajectory. It may not appear like that on the external, but the point is that we as individuals, and we're talking for all of you, all right? All of the spiritual people as individuals, all right? Now we're not physical, so we're here to help. But what we want to say is that as individuals, all right, spiritual people need to get their own spiritual, emotional, mental empowerment and get their act together, get themselves into balance. And
Okay.
this evaluation that's going on now is helping everybody get into balance, getting back into the light masculine, the light feminine, getting into balance. You have to personally get into the new reality as yourself. And when you do that, you see, you are really the full creator. If truth be known, this illusion is based all around you. Okay, so you've created everything. You've created Donald Trump. You created Hillary Clinton. You created Bernie. You created all of this. You don't see how that works right now, but when you get yourself into balance and into that mode of creative dreaming and creative imaginative, then you will see that the world will start, the external world, the physical world, will start to shift around you.
Oh, boy.
You are the creator of the new world. If
We're
it
the
wasn't for you,
magicians.
it would not happen.
Wow. If it wasn't for you coaching a lot of us, it may not have happened as well as it has so far. And we all just thank you so much for joining us as a paradigm shifter. And please come
You're
on
certainly
again.
welcome.
Please come
Oh,
on
yes.
again,
There's so
Galexis.
much. There's so much to share.
Yeah, maybe
All
we'll
right.
see you in a month or so if that's not too soon.
All right.
All right.
Well, we wish the best for everyone because, no, you're on track. It'll be okay. Okay?
Thank you, Galexis. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you. Many blessings and
Yes. Thank you to
thank
you,
you.
too. And blessings to you and all those who are listening.
Thank you. So this is Veronica Entwistle, and you can receive this podcast on veronicaentwistle.com, iTunes, Stitcher, Speak Up Talk Radio, and look forward to talking with Galexis again. Again, many blessings, and thank you for listening.